everybody. Pastor Randy here. Great to be back with you today for Making It Simple. We started a brand new teaching yesterday, just a little introduction, but today we're going to jump into the heart of the lesson. And it is all built around the question, where did it fall? Now, this story is found in 2 Kings, and we find the story of the missing axe head. Now, one may ask, well, what is that? Well, again, we'll look at that as we break that story down. But the point of the entirety of that story was indeed that question, where did it fall? And so what we find there is the issue. It points us to the direction that we need to look at in order to find the answer, in order to find the solution. Where did it fall? In other words, where did the problem start? Now, every one of us, regardless of where we are in life or regardless of our status or title or anything, everybody can agree that it is easy to lose stuff. All right, so the guy is working hard, he's swinging the axe and chopping the tree, and all of a sudden the axe head flies off into the river and it's missing, it's gone. And he cries out about that because, again, it was borrowed, and he was upset that the work was stopped, but also this belongs to someone else. So it became a dilemma. We get anxious, we get upset when we lose something, and it really doesn't matter what it is or how big it is. The size has nothing to do with it. It could be our keys, it could be our glasses, it could be the remote to the TV, it could be your car at the mall because there's a billion cars out there. All these different things, anything can get lost. But what about when we lose our way? What about when we get lost? And sometimes we can't get back on track. Sometimes we realize I'm not where I need to be, but I don't know how to get there. How easy is that? It happens all the time. It happens every day. Maybe not to you personally, but to people around us all the time. But it's not something difficult to do. It's something that is very easy to do. So when that happens, when we lose our way, how do we find that? How do we find that way again? We have to go back to this question. Where did it fall? Where did it fall? Where did the problem start? That's what Elisha asked the young man that was chopping the tree that lost the axe head. So I want us to take some time over the next couple of lessons as we look at this question and begin to realize there has to be a source. There has to be a point of beginning, okay? And that's one of the problems with many, many things today is we see the enormity of the problem that's in front of us, whatever it might be. It could be a traffic jam. It could be a financial, catastrophe. It could be all kinds of different things. But it had a beginning. Everything has a beginning. Life, problems, a leak in the roof, everything has a beginning. And that's the one question that many people can't answer because they get overwhelmed by the circumstance. But oftentimes we cannot solve the circumstance. We cannot clear up the problem until we go back to where did it fall? Where did it start? Where was the original problem with this issue? So when this comes to us, when this comes to humanity, society, people, where did it start? Where was the problem? We see all the issues going on in the world today. All right, we see all the divide, we see all the hate and the ugliness and all the stuff. Where did it start? Where did it fall? Well, friends, we have to go back to the beginning to find the answer. We have to go back to the garden. Well, wait a minute, Pastor, how does that Everything starts there. And the reason I can say that, we're not talking about just the biblical account, the story, if you will. but it is, because that is the origination of how did this come to be when we look at the way things are right now. And if you'll bear with me for just a little bit as we go through this, I believe that I can show you what I'm talking about, because we have to go back. The young man chopping the tree lost his axe head. We have to go back to the garden to find it. But wait a minute, didn't it fall in the river? Yeah, but follow me for a minute. We all know the story, right? We all know the story. We've read the whole account, the whole Adam and Eve thing, all that stuff. But here's where it gets important. We can get off into the weeds with all different types of analogies about the literacy of this, that, and the other. But here's where it gets important. It's what God said. Okay, God said, take care of everything that you see. Everything that you see, it's yours. Everything that you could possibly need is right here. I gave it to you. I provided it for you. All you got to do is take care of it. That's all you got to do. It's just take care of it. It's yours. I provided everything you need, every food that you need, every comfort that you need, everything that you need. It is right here. Need is the key word, okay? Because the mindset was of no different at that point. It was that. I see what's presented before me. I see so we see the analogy. We see how I've given you everything you need. Just take care of it. I only ask you one thing in exchange for all of this. One thing. That one tree right over there in the middle, the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. Leave that alone. You don't need that. You don't need that. Just leave that alone. Now, some will make the argument, why put it there? Why put it there? Well, look at it this way. If no temptation ever presented itself to you, would there ever be a challenge to your faith? Would there ever be a challenge to your obedience? Would there ever be a challenge to your, willingness? And if there was never a challenge, would anything ever be real? We get bogged down in that sometimes because if God knew it was going to cause all these problems, why would he have done it? Because we were never created to be robots. We were never created to just be obligated to be obedient. It has to be a true heart desire. We were created in the image of God. Therefore, we were given the ability to be kind, to have love, to have joy, all those things. But at the end of the day, my embracing those things or my rejecting those things has to come from me, or else it doesn't count. Because if I am forced to do something, I don't mean it. If you don't believe that, if you that are listening have become a parent of more than one child in this life, or even just one, and you make them, make is the key word, say, I'm sorry, they do not mean it. A forced apology is not sincere. Okay? And many times in this life, maybe we feel like we've been forced to do something against our will. Now, that's a key understanding there. But if we're honest, we didn't mean it. Whatever the forcing produced, whatever came there, it wasn't sincere. The presentation of this opportunity in the garden, as we read that story, gives the opportunity to say, okay, you get to decide which way you want to go. But here's the totality of everything. I've given you everything that you need. That's the key. Hold on to that thought. You've got everything that you need. Just leave this one thing alone. And realize, if you don't, you have the full free choice to do as you want. I'm not withholding anything from you. I'm not restricting you. I'm putting it in front of you. You get to decide. You get to decide. But just understand that choice comes with a consequence. That choice. In other words, you get to determine which road you're going to turn down. There's two signs there. This one says it goes this way. This one says it goes this way. Each one has a consequence, be it good or not. You get to decide which one you want to do. Leave that alone. I'm telling you that as Father. I'm telling you that as one that loves you. Leave that alone. You don't need that. That's parenting. Many times our children don't understand. Why are you saying? I tell my children, you don't listen to that. It's not good for you. But why? Everybody's doing it. As one that's been around for a long time, I have some wisdom in that. This is all God is saying. Listen to me. Where did it fall? I think you see where we're going. Well, we'll pick back up on this tomorrow as we continue looking at where it all started. And we have to find the axe head back in the garden. God bless you. I'll see you tomorrow.